Wow. All right, here we go. Going live. It takes just a second. So we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Teacher Kasie, and let me know if you can hear us and see us okay. We just got the message that we are live. Sherri, did you accept that message?
Live recording, I accepted, yes. I don't remember what, yeah.
And Phoebe's here. Hey, Phoebe, thanks for coming. Oh, is that a picture of your dog on your profile? I should have used the screen with my dog in the background. He's so cute. So, all right. And just want to give a little shout out to Sherri here. Sherri, thanks for coming on my channel. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Sherri is a fairly new KidPass teacher, and I thought it would be great to have her on and maybe go over a few things for all of you. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box below. So, all right, Sherri, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I have primarily been a homeschooler. So I have a bachelor's degree in education, but I have homeschooled my kids for the past 20 years. And
how long?
Past 20 years.
Wow.
So I just graduated my baby. She graduated in a year early, which was unexpected, not really planned, but we knew she would be able to do it because it was a pandemic. There was nothing to do but study. So, and I love to teach. I always have. I've taught my kids. I've taught a lot of other homeschooling kids. I've done online teaching for homeschool kids. So adding other online teaching stuff was just sort of a natural progression as my kids got older.
That's great. I have a 20-year-old and a 22-year-old. So we are in the same boat there. So how long have you been working with KidPass?
I think it was May. I don't know. I would have to go back and look.
Yeah, but a couple of months.
Yeah, it's been a few months. It was before summer started. So I think it was May.
Great. And what was your why for starting at KidPass?
Before everything came down in China, I was wanting to diversify because I was wanting normal hours, a little more normal hours. I was really tired. And I think part of that was my whole family got COVID last December and I taught through it. I never took off. And so I think just the constant, up early in the morning, the winter really wore on me. Everything's an hour earlier because their time is off, not 12 hours, 13 hours in China. I just wanted some normal teaching times.
Right. And what did you do before KidPass?
Primarily homeschooled, but then the past couple of years, I've done a variety of things. I was working with Vipkid. So I still am teaching with Vipkid until they shut the doors.
Right.
But I also am a novice urban farmer. And so I worked at an urban farming store in the city of Indianapolis for a couple years. Really enjoyed that. It was, the best of combining your hobby with getting paid for it.
Right. That's great.
And then another hobby that I love is musicals. And I also worked for a youth theater and we did musicals. So again, a lot of teaching involved in all of that because I like teaching, but got to combine hobbies with things I love to do. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Love it. Welcome, Phoebe, Lisa, Rebecca, and Senya. Thanks for coming. Phoebe wants to know, what kind of hours do you teach? Do your classes fill up and how is payment distributed?
For KidPass specifically?
Yes, I believe KidPass.
For KidPass, I just started out teaching an hour. I taught a half an hour class and took half-hour break and took another half hour. And I did live stages. So I started off, I did live stages once or twice a week. Right. And my thought was I would do a live stage and promote my session for the next week, and then do a live stage, promote my session for the next week.
Yes.
And then I decided to, instead of having a very themed weeks, because my bookings were really sporadic, I started doing a circle time. And so really I have a bunch of lessons planned, and if kids come, I can teach. If kids don't, I haven't wasted time planning out a whole week of lessons on a theme that then no one comes. Right. So my bookings have been sporadic. Right. except for I've been teaching summers with KidPass. And summers with KidPass is like a live stage. So the parents get to come to the classes for free, but I get paid for it.
Yes.
And that has been very nice.
Yes.
And that has helped me develop relationships with some kids and families. So I'm hoping that will help carry into the future and more bookings for KidPass in general.
So Phoebe, I'm not sure if I've seen you in the group. Are you already with KidPass? Maybe you know what the KidPass lives are, maybe you don't, but the live stage it's a fun way to market yourself. You are teaching up to 200 children and parents a class, a 30-minute class, and you mute everybody. The parents know this ahead of time, and it's showing them how you teach. So if they like your style, maybe they'll book your class. Now, what they do at the end of the class, they give you an email list. So you have an email list of all of your students. You can send a thank you note with a link to your upcoming classes. I made a Canva thank you when I did mine. So I did 3 live KidPass, live stage. What am I trying to say? I did 3 of them, and then I ended up moving. So Rebecca wants to know, do you get paid for the live stages? Do you want to explain the difference between them and the summer ones?
Yeah, for the regular live stages, you don't. You are just promoting yourself. They are a lot of fun to do. Yeah. They're because you get to meet a lot of kids, and even though they're supposed to keep their mics muted, they still unmute themselves and talk to you. Some of them get very excited. I have had to mute everybody over and over again through the time, but it's really just to promote your style. And I think it also gives you a chance to get an idea of what maybe parents want.
Right.
So you teach something and you don't get bookings from it. You're like, well, maybe I need to try something else. And you teach something else and see what different things parents are liking the most.
Learn and Excel with Raquel. So she hasn't heard of this one. Sounds really cool. Awesome, Raquel. Let me know if you have questions. We can ask Sherri, or if you have questions for me. If you need a referring coach, we can both help you out with that. Sherri, do you want to give your email address? I should have linked it earlier and I didn't.
It's learning with Sherri, Sherri with an I, learning with Sherri, SHERRI at gmail.com.
I'll put this in the chat box, and then I will link it in the description box as well. And mine is just casey.oswald@gmail.com. So if you need help with that. Awesome. Yep, leave questions for us. Let's see. Raquel's, is it mostly course subjects? What do you teach? I want you to go first on this one, because I think differently on this platform. What do you think?
I have taught a variety of things. My circle time is more of a traditional preschool, although preschool circle time, letters, numbers, songs, movement. However, it morphed into more of an ESL, borderline ESL, because I had a regular student who lives in a foreign country, and that was the primary reason her parents signed her up for my classes. But I've also done books, reading. I know, Kasie, you like to read to kids. Yes. I do too. I like to read to kids. I was in youth theater, so I'm very dramatic, and I do voices, and I find it a lot of fun. So there's just such a wide variety. You can tutor. So you can tutor a wide variety of subjects, and you could do ESL. You could do reading, phonics, math. You could do, I was thinking of, maybe I should try some readers theater with some of the little older kids who know how to read. Really, you name it, you could do it. There's so many different classes that you could teach.
I think originally it was a lot of like karate, ballet, and things like that. And I think having to go online now, they do have a big spectrum on here. I've done story times and yoga because I hooked up with one of my friends that's a yoga instructor. So that was a lot of fun. And what was the other one? Story times and crafts. So that's kind of my trade there. I love story time. Let's see. Phoebe said, I am waiting till September for my live stage because I got this notification. Starting August 30th, we will pay providers $15 per 30-minute session to compensate for their time. Woo-hoo.
Oh, look, I haven't gotten through all my KidPass emails. I get so many when you.
Yeah, when you sign up for KidPass, you are a parent and a teacher. So you get that, which is kind of good because you know what's coming on the parent side. Right. I do apparently need to go back through because I'm going to have to put an update out on that.
And I'm still doing summers with KidPass. So I'm getting like 40 to 50 emails a day of kids who are booking my classes.
Wow. So, yeah, you will get a ton of emails because every time a student books with you, they send you a message, a notification, and you get their emails and everything. So yeah, I just saw it when I got hired. Oh, Phoebe, if I don't have that email, I might need to see it. This means that you'll be paid to market yourself. Additionally, providers get an average of $7 in donations. I have gotten some donations. That was fun on my 3 lives. So
I have too.
Yeah, that's been fun when you sign up on Calendly. Yes, awesome. Thanks, Phoebe. I'll do some research on that and I will get some more information out. So very good. Awesome. Well, that just made me a little bit more like, ooh.
I got to search through my emails and find this. That makes me happy.
Right? Because as a teacher, I've said it on this platform or on this channel before about this platform is I feel like parents are already paying a monthly fee to subscribe to KidPass. So a lot of times I was feeling like they just wanted some free stuff that's out there, which is something I would do if I was a parent, right? Because I'm already paying for the subscription. Yeah. So I think if they're starting to pay for live stages, I think that will help boost the whole platform itself. So excellent.
I've actually had kids tell me that I can only take classes with you if they're free.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Right. And I kind of understand it. Let's see. Pranithya, how you doing? She said, I'm having trouble thinking of titles for my lessons. The titles seem to be a bit more whimsical than on other platforms. Any suggestions? I have to say, go with your gut. I think for me, you want to attract the students that how am I trying to word this, Sherri? I want students that are attracted to me and my titles. Sure, I could title them any way, but if it's not fitting towards my teaching style, I think it'll take away from it a little bit. What do you think, Sherri?
I think I agree. So I've been doing My Father's Dragon. We've been going through the 3 stories of My Father's Dragon. Public domain stories. And
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, this has been like one of our favorites in our family since my kids were little.
Wow.
And I love the story. And so I think if you're marketing it the way, because you love it, it's going to come across that way.
Right.
And so I titled it Amazing Adventures.
Okay.
And so it was Amazing Adventures, My Father's Dragon, Elmer and the Dragon, and the Dragons of Blue Land. And then I've had some other amazing adventures with like fairy tales. And
yeah,
so it doesn't necessarily have to be, if you make it more whimsical, like you said, then maybe you necessarily teach, then people may not be drawn to you. So
yeah, Pranithya, you are an amazing teacher. You've got this. I don't really have any other suggestions. I am one that flies by the seat of my pants kind of thing. Whatever pops in my brain, it's like, okay. So yeah. Phoebe wants to know, how do the tutoring packages work?
I don't know. Do you know, Kasie? Because I was wondering that too.
Right. Maybe if Shaniqua comes on here, maybe she can explain it to us. But I've only done like the single classes for that kind of stuff. I haven't done packages, but I did see that they are offering tutoring, things like that.
I will say that they have, for if any of you are of the group of so many of us who've been teaching ESL online in China, KidPass does have it's actually a university that has a program that they partner with to provide ESL classes. So I don't know how popular teaching ESL and KidPass would be if we're teaching it apart from that. I was doing some research on that. It was one of those things I accidentally stumbled upon. Like, how many people teach ESL in here? But they actually have a specific. And so I'm like, well, gee, what does it take to get hired by these people? And it takes a lot. I mean, they're looking for mostly people who have masters, and they prefer somebody who has English as a second language as a master's and things like that. But there are teachers who do ESL classes apart from that. So
excellent. That's good info. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I was taking notes so that I could get some more information for you, Phoebe, on that one. But if Shaniqua comes on here, if we get a chance to ask her, then she'll help us out with that. Shaniqua was my mentor. That's the other thing, is they don't have a link for us to give out or anything. People just use our emails. And what I do is I send their name and email address to KidPass, and KidPass sends me a note saying, have your friend email us at this address, and then they get started. So I don't even know who has used my links before.
I did.
What's that?
I did, because you were the only person I could find on Facebook that had anything about KidPass. So
well, don't say that's the only reason. Come on now, Sherri.
But no, that was really valuable, because I was like, I can't find anything. I need like information. And so you had stuff. And you were fun to watch. So
I felt so bad though, because I got started on this new platform. I was so excited. And then we moved. And then we had 9 visitors come for a couple of weeks. So I feel like I'm behind. I hope I'm not letting anyone down, but I will definitely come out with some videos and information shortly. So, thanks, Sherri. I knew you used mine because I sent your name in for you, right?
Yeah. You did.
I guess I could be like writing everybody down, but I don't. I just kind of go with the flow.
And it also asks when you're filling out the forms, it asks you if you have somebody that referred you.
Right. And that's where you would put mine or Sherri or Shaniqua's email address. I mentioned Shaniqua. She is also in our Facebook group. We do have a Facebook group for KidPass. If I didn't put it below, I will put it below after this video, but you can search for its KidPass community.
If you just put KidPass in, it's the unofficial one.
Yeah.
And
me.
Yeah.
So we try to answer questions as best and fast as we can. KidPass was not an online platform originally. So I think a lot of this is new. They've been fixing all the bugs. They're making this platform really, really good. I'm really excited. So.
They do have really good communication.
Yes.
Most of the time, I've only had once that I've had a long delay, and it was because they couldn't figure it out. Really is what it. But they reply automatically immediately, and then they usually get back. They do usually get back to you within 24 hours, and sometimes it's been only a couple hours.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with their support as well. Let's see. So what was the hiring process like for you?
Well, the application process was the most complicated part.
Really?
Yes, because I'm too much of a perfectionist. That's part of it. I'm just too much of a perfectionist. I can really fly by the seat of my pants in some things, but some things I actually, the shirt I was wearing that I changed out of says, hold on, let me overthink this. So what kept happening is I was dog sitting for friends, and I was spending days there, and they don't have internet. So I was using my hotspot, and I would lose connection, and then I would lose everything. Right. It'd be all gone. It would all get wiped out. So I actually, if anybody wants to know exactly what is on the KidPass application, I started copying it, all the questions with my answers, so that I would be able to just copy and paste and put it back in. So I filled all that out, came up with my classes. That was probably the most time consuming part, was trying to decide what I wanted to do for classes, because I'm kind of a planner. So I'm like, I want to make sure I know what I'm doing for these classes before I turn it in. And then after that, it was only a couple days. I had live stage planned really fast. I was supposed to have this interview on Zoom, only like they weren't scheduling it. I'm like, well, I know how to use Zoom. I teach on Zoom. So do I really need that? I'm like, I mean, I'm fine if I don't. And we did end up squeezing it in like right before my KidPass live stage, my first live stage. But
so they do have you do a 5 to 10 minute, they say Zoom interview, but really it's, can you find the mute button? Can you, like, what else?
Yeah,
Find
do you
the
know
end
how to
class.
share your screen, how to,
yeah,
how to
So
turn off annotations so kids aren't writing all over the screen if you are sharing your screen.
right. So it's fairly simple. I would not worry about that at all. She did mention getting your first class ready. So when they asked me when I want to teach, I put in like every Monday and Thursday at this time and blah, blah, blah. Well, next thing I know, I open up and it says you've been accepted. And my first class was like the next day. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, so I don't know.
That happened to me too.
Yeah.
But it turned out those classes were not actually published yet.
Oh, okay.
That's the way they did it. And once like those classes didn't become published, I think until I had that Zoom meeting, I went through and I panicked. Even though I knew it was likely to happen, I still panicked, canceled everything because I was leaving for vacation. Right. And so I was doing live stages to advertise classes when I got back from vacation, and they had times open for my vacation. Right. So I canceled everything, but you don't have to do that. You can just change the times and the dates, but I panicked and just went delete. I did too. So
yes, I panicked a little bit and did the same thing. So what happens if I need to cancel a class? What is the cancellation policy?
It doesn't seem to be that there's any major penalty. I think if you cancel a bunch, they're probably going to say something to you. Right. I've only had to cancel a couple classes. One was accidental, and I meant to get back with them and say, hey, I canceled the wrong class because my kid had a doctor's appointment. No. And even though she's graduated from high school, she's still a minor. And I forgot to go back. But the other class, I had this ongoing student, and I just emailed him and I'm like, hey, I can't do class this day. I have to take my daughter to the doctor. And the thing about these classes is they're scheduled for like 30 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever time frame you choose, but your Zoom room stays open. Oh. I realized that when I forgot to turn it off and had it on all night long. Oops. I'm like, okay, whoops. So I offered that parent, I'm like, can I just extend the other, a couple other classes that week to make up for that time? That's what I did. Wow. So they weren't upset about missing a class because they had a package and I gave them a discount if they booked a whole week at a time. Right. So KidPass does charge $10 for class cancellations if the class has already been booked. Yes. And that was the only one I'd ever had booked. And so I didn't even know they charged the $10. That's how much observant I am. I'm like, I was trying to find, I'm like, I'm just going to cancel it. And right. And I remember up here, somebody asked about how do you get paid? I can't remember the name of the thing. Yeah, it's like bill.com or something. Yeah. It's like the same thing I used when I was in Japan, I think. Maybe. But they will send you a link and you just fill it out for your pay. And it does say on there that you can even accept payments. So I wonder how, I haven't really investigated to see for people who are wanting to accept payments from other parts of the world, how hard that is to do. I don't know. Right. Yeah. But with KidPass, I think it's pretty neat. You make your own schedule, you set your own pay. They do take out a percentage, just like a lot of other companies. For the hiring process, you do need a demo. I used a demo from another class that I taught for another company, and I just kind of cut it all up in a nice little package, and just because I wanted to show them my actual teaching. So if you're already online teaching, you probably could use what you already have. What did you do for that, Sherri? I didn't have a demo, so I made a demo. And I do have a YouTube channel. It has 2 videos on it. Okay. It's Learning with Sherri with an I. And one of them is my KidPass demo, and the other one is the introductory to the parents video. Learning with Sherri. All right, I put it up there. That is her YouTube channel. And with intentions of doing more, but I just have not had the time. I thought it was such a complicated thing because I kept timing out on that application. I was like, I'm going to do a video with the process of doing that. And I just haven't done it.
Right. So you could download this video and then you could chop it up. And as long as you make enough changes, then you can upload it on yours too. So that'll be an
easy way. It takes video editing skills.
I use video editor and I hit like split and delete. That's it. Okay. And I've been on YouTube for a little while now. So I don't do a whole lot of editing. As you can tell, most of mine are live. So let's see, what other questions do we have here? I think that's it for the chat box right now. Feel free to keep putting questions. You guys have awesome questions. I do keep looking at my phone because I have her questions here in front of me. So, all right, what else do you plan on teaching on the KidPass platform?
I'm trying to decide that.
Yeah.
I have my summer session ending. It's next Friday, the 3rd. I went through the whole first week in September, or our like that split week between August and September. Mm-hmm. And then I'm taking that next week off because we will have like not a family constantly here. We've got them coming and going right now. And so I'm trying to decide what to do because I don't feel like the circle time has been as popular as I thought it would be. Right. So Shaniqua had said, and I was going to ask her this on Facebook. She said that the private classes have been something that have picked up for her. And I'd like to know more about what she does with that. Right. I could, say, hey, we could do a private class and it can be any time between X and X. I've got the whole afternoon. I could do classes. Right. And I'm thinking about doing something else with books, more than just reading. Perhaps it's I read to the kids and then we discuss, we can pull in literature learning, grammar, whatever, multiple different things into it. Maybe some phonics, some just classes concentrating on learning phonics and learning how to read. So I'm playing with different ideas. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing some like transitional kindergarten things on there. I think for kids preparing for kindergarten for next year, that maybe that'll start picking up for the fall, starting school now. Let's see. How do you give parents worksheets for your class? I do not see multi-day classes like OutSchool, just ongoing. I was just planning on emailing them.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just email. Usually by the week, but it ended up being more by the theme because I had one parent who they would buy a week's full of classes, but missed 2 or 3. So and she was the only student. So that would go over to the next week. I just email them.
I'm hoping to do more flex classes. I've done flex classes on OutSchool, which for those that don't know, they're pre-recorded classes. And I really enjoyed those. And actually you can make them pretty interactive. So that was fun. Let's see. Are the sessions recorded like in OutSchool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are automatically recorded, which really was beneficial to me last week when I'm like, I'm here. I've got one student. I normally have at like 40 and there's no one else here. What's going on? Right. And I never really heard what happened, but they have that recording. They could see that I was actually there. So.
Right. I remember seeing that in the Facebook group. You're like, what's going on?
That was just really bizarre.
Right. Phoebe wants to know, are there some older students in there, preteen and high schoolers? I feel like this is a younger crowd. They do accept students, like preteens and things, but I do feel like this is a younger platform. What do you think, Sherri?
I think so too. I think it is a younger platform. They say really the youngest kids are the most popular classes. And as it goes up, it drops off, the popularity drops off, but there are classes for teens. They do say they do some for teens.
I was trying to look it up, but I think it's like the 3-year-olds are the most popular.
Yeah, it's like 2 to 4 or 2 or 3-year-olds, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to check. I do have the KidPass platform open in case we have questions. Let's see. You can send them an email from your personal email. Yes, ma'am. Yes. I send thank you cards with links. Do you email them pre-recorded lessons too? I haven't on this platform, but if somebody books my pre-recorded class, I definitely will. Rebecca, note to self, make a brand new email for KidPass because of all the emails. Yes, tons. So So for example, I had 160, I think, students sign up for my first story time class, my live KidPass, my KidPass live stage. And you receive an email for them. They give you their email addresses and everything. So when I look at my KidPass email, it's a lot.
Yeah.
They teach babies too. Yes, ma'am. They have the babies on there. So that's why I think this is more geared towards a younger crowd.
I think they did like mommy and me classes in person.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I unfortunately, like my workspace is 3 feet wide. Like it's just over 3 feet wide. And I've been trying to figure out how I might be able to do something like that. And I just don't, because I've taught mommy and me classes in person before. I just don't know how feasible it is for me in my current space.
Right. I've done mommy and me yoga, story time and yoga classes for that too. Let's see. We already talked about the live stage. And do you work for any other online companies besides Vipkid and KidPass?
I am currently employed by LumaLearn, but I don't know if I'll be teaching anything with them. Right. I unfortunately came into it at the wrong time. I started before everything came down, but in that I filled out my background check, and the person who was okaying it went on vacation and was gone that week that everything came down in China. And so they've been swamped, and it's been a very slow process of trying to, my classes have been pending now for a couple weeks and have not gone live. Even though I have them completed, they're ready to go. She hasn't gotten to, I think there's a lot of people posting. So I don't know if I will be teaching with any LumaLearn classes this fall, maybe January next semester. I will. I was teaching for an online homeschool co-op, but my kids are done, so I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. Phoebe said she teaches math and science, so I wonder how popular that might be for younger kiddos. Oh, I love math and science with the younger kiddos. I have done some STEM classes, and I've done science classes on all about caves, and they take like a piece of clay with a sugar cube, and you talk about the rain, and you put droplets of water on it to see it. And I had them hands-on. That's a lot of fun. So you should give it a shot.
There were both science and math during the summer with KidPass. And there were for little kids as well as older, like maybe mid-elementary. And there were even, I think there was an algebra course that went through the summer. So
yeah. Hey Jason, how's it going? How's your new school? Your new work going on? Let us know in the chat. What companies are you working for, and do you have any plans to diversify? I did start teaching for another company, and it's adults. So that's been a whole new experience, and it's been a lot of fun. Although I did do it in Japan. When I lived there, I taught ESL conversational English. So it's not too far off from what I've already done, but
yeah, I do some private lessons and have been teaching adults, and actually just started a book club. Some women in China, a friend of mine in China, she's like, my friends want to start a book club. And so I love to read. That's kind of pretty cool. Let's do a book club.
Right? That's awesome. I love it. Phoebe said, OutSchool, Kids Connected, EF Learning, and now KidPass. I've heard of Kids Connected and EF Learning, but I have not signed up with them. Rebecca said, I get emails from KidPass about STEM all the time. I love STEM. Also Wizen. Now, Phoebe, I've been trying for I don't know, over a year to get somebody to explain Wizen on my channel because people were asking me, and I have not learned anything about it. So
Wizen is what it's called?
WYZANT. So my platforms are OutSchool, KidPass, Vipkid, and Hollow. Hollow is the adult one.
I was considering that.
Really, it's so much fun. I don't know. You do lives like anytime. So when I was in Disney World, I could just go live and say, "Hey, this is my family," and talk to them. It was fun. Oh, Phoebe said it's a tutoring platform. Phoebe, I think I just like saying your name. I've always loved that name. That and Samantha. just in case anybody's wondering. When I was a little girl, like I would play pretend, my name was always Sam. I don't know why I bring that up. It's just something funny. All right. So, Sherri, are you tech savvy? What kind of tech do you use in your classroom?
I do Google Slides. That's as tech as I get. And I make a lot of Google Slides. I've learned how to do a lot of stuff on Google Slides and animate stuff and stuff like that. Learning OBS has been on my to-do list for a while. I just haven't buckled down and done it.
Right.
Because my computer is not strong enough to do ManyCam. My little laptop can't handle ManyCam. So I would like to learn OBS. I just haven't done it.
My computer didn't handle ManyCam either. So bummer. Jason said he was thinking about Holo. Jason, I think you'd be great at it. I think you'd make great conversations. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Pranithya said VIP Kid, education first, Zoom classes for my business, KidPass, and OutSchool. Awesome. Very good. Let's see. So I was going to ask, are you a YouTuber? And you said you are.
Sort of.
So
I've got 2 old videos up there.
So after this video, if you don't mind, head over to Learning with Sherri, right? Learning with Sherri, and subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know when she starts posting her videos. She has 2 up there already, and they're both about KidPass, right?
Yes, they're both KidPass.
Excellent. Excellent. How long does it take you to make a video and edit? Did it take you forever?
I didn't edit anything. I gave it to my husband. I actually didn't edit much. It probably took me about 25 minutes to do my demo. I kept just re-recording it instead of splicing it together. And then like there was drag time on the beginning and the end. And I just said, here, because my husband does YouTube. So I'm like, would you edit this for me?
Yeah.
Because he knows more about what he's doing. So both of them are short. And the other one probably only took me about 10 minutes to do the welcome to KidPass video for the parents.
I don't even know if I put mine up there. I know
they asked for one. That's one of the things they asked for in the application is one of the things they asked that you have. And I was thinking it would be on my profile, but it's not. So I probably need to add it to my profile somehow or add it to my classes.
Yeah, I need to check that as well. Rebecca said VIP Kid, Bling ABC, and OutSchool. Rebecca, did the rest of them already close, or are you just mostly focusing on these 3 for now? So I asked the question and then there's a delay. So I always I sit there and wait.
I haven't heard of Bling ABC.
You haven't heard of Bling?
No.
Bling's been around for a little while, actually. Let's see. So what do you feel are qualities of a good teacher?
Flexibility. Definitely flexibility, because you never know what you're going to encounter.
Right.
You could, I get interrupted and some live stages or the summer with KidPass a gazillion times. Kids are unmuting themselves. And I thought I have this setting that I'm clicking that's saying that they can't unmute themselves.
Right.
Yet sometimes they still are able to do it. So I'm clearly doing something wrong. Because I click do you want students to be able to unmute themselves, and they're still doing it. So, but it's also not necessarily always been a bad thing. Yesterday, we kind of had extra time, and I'm in the middle of the class between chapters, and I'm like, okay, guys, what'd you have for breakfast? And so they're all sharing what they had for breakfast. So, so flexibility is probably the biggest thing, not being tied to your plans, because plans change all the time.
Especially with these kiddos.
Yeah.
Raquel said, I like Charlie. Said like Charlie. See, you get me. Me too. I love how she went back to the names. I'm not sure if I warned Sherri, but I am ADHD. So this is about KidPass, but then, you find out names that I liked when I was a kid. So
that's okay. That's real life. Sydney, I wanted to be Sydney. So, and I thought I'd made up the name Sydney. And then I heard it and I was devastated because I thought I'd made it up.
Okay, I think people should just let us know in the chat box. When you were a kid, what was like your pretend name? I already gave mine was Sam. Sherri was Sydney. Oh, that's so funny. All right, let's see. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Wow, this question is extra
It's
tricky
deep.
now.
I have no idea. Like, really, I don't, because I feel like so much has changed in the past month.
Yeah.
That I would like to teach more online. I would like to get to where I can teach normal hours. I don't have to have time in the day to free to homeschool my kids anymore. So I can homeschool other kids or teach other classes to other kids. I don't have a 5-year plan. Like, I just want to make it to 2022 right now and make some money in that time. I want to continue teaching because I do really love teaching, and I would really miss it if I wasn't doing it. But I've learned that that's going to fluctuate and change, and what that looks like. You don't know what shape it will take on, because anything can change at any point in time.
Yeah, if you would have asked me that question a few years ago, I probably would have said, still be in Germany teaching kindergarten. And somehow I ended up back in the States and as an online teacher. So yeah, you just never know. You get these curveballs, but I do like setting long-term goals. That is just something I've always loved doing. So
I probably need to, but I'm just sort of deer in a headlight still. I was actually offered, like, without an interview or anything, a job at a charter school opening up in our city, because I got to know the guy who was opening it up, and he was like, "You teach ESL? I would hire you right now."
Right.
And he's like, "I seriously would hire you at this," because he'd been in some teaching situations with me. He knew I could teach. And I was like, I don't know that I want to teach in a classroom. I really don't. I'm too old. Really, I'm too old for it.
That's funny.
Well, I have chronic migraines too. So the great beauty of online teaching is I can power through an half an hour class and collapse. But I don't know that I could power through a whole day after day after day of dealing with migraines. So
Oh yeah, that's tough. All right. And what are great teaching resources that you have come across?
Yes, this is a list that I was looking at before I was coming online, that I was trying to find something specific that I haven't actually used yet. But I use a lot of Google Slides stuff. I like to use Google Slides. I like to have interactive resources for the kids to use. And so some of the ones that I've used that I really like, one of them is I Teach Too, and it's the letter I Teach TEOCH2 TOO. It's not the number 2.com. And she's got, you can buy packages, you can buy resources, but she has a lot of free stuff, and she's got a newsletter you can sign up for. She also has a companion site, Life Overseas, and it's the letter C, but it's a play on words because she lives overseas. She may actually be back here now, but and then there's another one that has a lot of digital resources, funlearningforkids.com. It has both digital and worksheets. And Little Miss Kim's class, that's another one. And then one of my favorite resources for blog posts, for like just personal quick education moments for myself, worksheets, all that, it's called stayathomeenducator.com. And she's got a PhD in early childhood. I think it is early childhood. You can buy a whole year's worth of curriculum from her, but she also just has a bunch of free stuff she sends out in her newsletters, free resources online. And I find her really inspirational, and she really relates to you. Like, she's like, you don't want a bunch of busy work that your kids aren't going to learn anything. She gets down to the nitty gritty.
That's awesome. I haven't heard of that one. All the other ones, I hadn't heard of the first one either. I always think of like Teachers Pay Teachers to find something quickly for my classes. But if you're using them online, you do want to make sure that they allow you to use their information online or their classes online. It is different. And just as I was saying that, I have, let's see, I think if you interviewed a copyright lawyer to share the rules and regulations of document replication. Yeah, I think you're right. If you know anybody, or if anybody wants to come on here that is a copyright lawyer, I would love to interview them. I know that would be for pretty much any independent teacher or OutSchool or KidPass, anyone that has to make their own lesson plans. I agree. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good live.
There's also some websites, and I haven't gotten on these to write. One of them is Unite for Literacy, and they have a bunch of free books online. Wow. And one of my to-do list things is to write them, because I discovered them rather recently, and say, hey, can I read these online?
Right.
All their stuff is free and they're trying to promote literacy. So can I use them in my classes? There's another one called storyjumper.com where you can create your own books and publish them, semi-publish them online. And then there's a bunch of other resources. And that's another, I'm wondering, can I use these online? Right. Because like they have a bunch of books on the alphabet. So if you're doing phonics with a kid, right, they have books on all sorts of A things, or so they would be neat to use.
So if you look at my channel, I do have story times. All of them have the publisher's note at the bottom, the publisher's permissions. I have reached out to tons of publishers, and only 2 have gotten back to me with approval. So it's a little bit time consuming, but if you send out those emails, you might get permission as well.
There also are a lot of classics, like the Velveteen Rabbit. Mm-hmm. If you're from, that's public domain. The pictures and the story are public domain. Because they never renewed the copyright on it. And there's a bunch of classics that are like that. There's a lot of the fairy tales too. And believe it or not, Beatrix Potter, most of Beatrix Potter's writing is public domain, but not the pictures.
Oh, okay.
The pictures are not public domain. So there's a lot of public domain stuff out there, and that's what I've stuck to. There are a couple publishers that I would like to write to that I would really like to get permission, because I've just seen little kids respond to them, not online, that I think would be great to use.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that is it. So, Sherri, all in all, what do you think of your experience with KidPass so far?
It's been fun. I really have liked being able to do summers with KidPass. I had dropped my prices a lot trying to get my classes to fill, and only having one kid every day was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna stick it through the summer and hope things pick up in the fall. So hopefully it will pick up in the fall. And if we're getting paid to do some of those live stages, that'd be
great.
Wonderful. And I think maybe it is partially summer too.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens with COVID this fall too. If places start having to shut things down, there's going to be more of a need for classes online.
Yeah, I think the transition right now from kids being off to school starting again, they need to get back into the role. They need to get back into the routine and things. So I did see an email come out from KidPass about offering academic classes. So that might be a good place to start as well. So, well, we hope you enjoyed this video. Phoebe said, I can see an increase for tutoring. Yeah, I bet there will be, especially when so many kids missed a lot during these last, year and a half or whatever from COVID. I think a lot of them are going to need to catch up, because teachers are still going to have to teach the curriculum and things. So not that they can't diversify, but some of the kids are going to need a little bit of extra help for what they missed. So yeah, I see a need for that as well, Phoebe. Again, let us know if you have questions. Feel free to put them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. I will post mine and Sherri's email addresses below if you need mentor teachers. We will also post the Facebook group below. I think that's about it, Sherri. Anything else?
I think so. I don't think so. I think that's it.
All right.
Oh, you know what? There was one more resource that and I've used it for my KidPass, even though it's an ESL. I subscribe. It's called Crystal Clear ESL. It's actually esl-curriculum.com. Okay. And it has like lessons that you would pull up on any of the platforms you would teach. They're very similar to multiple different platforms. But it's got a step-by-step curriculum. And since I was teaching a little girl who was not a native English speaker, I used those lessons in our classes.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing those. Those are all great resources. I'm going to have to go back and watch this so I can write them all down and add them to the description box.
I'm a resource junkie, so I had to narrow it down to share my most loved things.
Awesome. Well, feel free to send them to me and I'll add them to the description box. All right, everyone. Thank you so much again for coming. We appreciate you being here. Ask questions below. I will try to learn more about the tutoring packages for you and paid lives and get videos out as soon as possible. All right, everyone. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you for having me, Kasie. Goodbye, everybody.